I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having two college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments. And a lot of the time, they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job, somebody has to do it. And you know damn well if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I can.
It sounds like from her description that she might be in hospice care because you said most of them don't make it or elderly patient. So I don't know if she works in like a convalescent home or something like that, but I mean maybe some type of nursing career. Definitely does pay well. I mean, depending on like obviously what level of education you have, what school you went to, it could matter. Not only that, whatever, employer you're with. I think certain like specialty nurses like ER, labor and delivery, certain things you get a premium for having that specialty qualification. So there's ways to advance in that career, but in my honest opinion, I think it's more of a spending problem because you're making 80K. Don't know if she's single, kids, or a family, but especially knowing being a nurse, you have the capability of working two jobs. You could work two full-time jobs, working 12-hour shifts, and be able to make up that difference. But the problem is, let's say she does do that, she probably still has poor spending habits, and that'll put her in that same predicament where she's not able to, I guess, afford to pay her bills with 2 degrees making 80K. So again, sometimes people have to do a lot of self-reflection and understand that everything that's going on around you in your environment is your responsibility. You have to take accountability for it. So I don't think most people understand that, and it's easier to cope and blame someone else opposed to decisions you made. Yeah, she mentioned like she chose that degree, and of course anybody would want their loved ones to be taken care of, but you also have to understand because you chose that path that you have to deal with the lack of or success that comes with that decision. So that's where I see the lack of accountability, but it looks like, she's probably going to be fine. I mean, for whatever, 80K is not bad. She's above the median salary throughout the US, so she's getting paid pretty well. I mean, I would assume the more experience, the more, the more better off she'll be in her career path. But, that wasn't defined in this short period of time. But main thing is take accountability. You control your own life, not anyone else.
Keep doing this.
Ultimately, we're looking at a time frame where I don't think college has the same, I guess, value depending on unless you're going to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you're in STEM or something like that, then I could see. And even then, it's getting like AI is getting so sophisticated that at some point it'll actually end up replacing those high end jobs.
Can we talk about how difficult it is to realize that that whole concept of going to college and getting a great job and life just being set after that was a lie? Now, I know that with the younger generations and with how the world works now,
I just I want to stop her really quick because basically we were just referring to that, like going to school and the value that getting a degree had maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago opposed to and now in today's times. Yeah, it's not a lie. I think times have changed and most people aren't adapting. You get older generations, boomers and generation following that they were drilled in their head that go to school, get a degree, and you'll be able to survive. There was a time also when people worked jobs for 25, 30 years and they had pension and there was a lot of longevity. And then the average job can take care of a small family. We don't live in those times anymore. So I think people like lack the ability. You get the point. You can't try to make something fit that doesn't fit. So as AI advances, we already know if you're going to school, you need to look at careers that may survive this transition of technology, or like I said, go into maybe a trade or something like hard labor that, it may not be the most ideal, but I could tell you now that it'll be a while before we see AI and robots out there doing the manual labor. I think people want to deal with people. So I think there's going to be a huge curve before it gets to the point where people are completely fine with having like automated or robotic service on all levels. Like at some point it may come, but I don't think it is now. So I don't think necessarily it's not a lie. I think times have changed. You either adapt, it's survival of the fittest, it's Darwinism. So yeah, you got to adapt or lay down.
Most people recognize that shit wasn't true. Okay. But for us millennials, especially, we were still a part of that era that was like, you get good grades, you go to college, you get a good job, and everything falls into place after that. And yet there are so many of us who have 1 degree, 2 degrees, advanced degrees, all of that. And we still out here struggling. It is still very difficult to financially even be a part of the middle class. The middle class is not even the middle class anymore. What you used to be able to make and be able to say that you were middle class, you're now low class. Okay. It's ridiculous how we have worked so hard, spent all this money, got into debt just to barely make it. I got 2 jobs and I have a master's degree. It is really hard to just eat that.
Yeah, I can see that because I think this is the problem. Like I said, it comes down to critical thinking. People are relying solely too much on a certificate or a piece of paper. I think as times pass, they have relaxed even requirements for a lot of these jobs to where a college degree is not required. And even then, like if you have experience, you can always get ahead of somebody who's freshly graduated. A lot of times they want you to come out of school with experience. It's like how, and the people that do get it ahead are the ones that already have been taking internships and make that transition. So it's like you're competing with some of the best of the best, especially if you're trying to get into elite position. You definitely are looking for like to increase your competition. The level of competition does increase as you go up, the ladder. So you got to accommodate for that. Like you can't just think that you can keep doing the same thing over and over as time changes and you don't have to make any adjustments. So I think school is very important, but I think educating yourself is more important than just going to get a piece of paper for delivery. Because I've seen a lot of people that like they're book smart, but you put them in like real life situations or scenarios and they don't know how to function. So like having a degree is great, but how do you perform and do you have a track record of your performance? And a lot of people are looking for that now. I think there's too much entitlement for people. I got this degree, that degree. Kanye made a skit on College Dropout, like all these certificates, all these papers, and you're still broke because it's like degrees. To me, it doesn't equate intellect or intelligence or ambition or creativity. Like you don't need that to be successful. Some of the most successful people in the world were college dropouts. So it's just like, well, you got people like her. I'm sure she's an intelligent woman, but I think sometimes when you put too much focus on your degree, or I guess not even degree, either the field you're in, sometimes people, even like I said, if you're a lawyer, there's people that go to law school, they spend all that money, they go in debt, and then they're not even a great lawyer, or they don't end up practicing law. So it's just like, or they can't pass a bar exam. So it doesn't matter. You could have that degree, but are you skillful enough? Do you have the resilience? You know what I'm saying? Like those things matter, man. It's not just about a paper. Like people really kind of negate what life is really about. Travel, get experience, expand your network. I think one of the best things about college is your network is your net worth. And that's the best time to meet a lot of people throughout your life who are headed on the same direction and trying to succeed. So it's in your best interest to focus on networking, learning valuable skills, not just getting degrees for the sake of it. Understanding times are changing. AI is replacing people, and you better be making a plan. And not only that, financial literacy. I'm going to keep emphasizing financial literacy because a lot of this stuff can be avoided by just making better sound decisions, not taking out astronomical loans. You're 6 figures in student loan debt when the career path you chose is dying and only pays $50,000 entry. That doesn't make any sense. So I advise people, man, start using your brains. Let her finish off what she has to say, and we'll wrap this up.
It is really hard to grieve that concept that you can bust your ass and go through schooling and still be poor. Can we talk about it? Can we?
Yep. That's why I said it's not guaranteed. Put on your thinking caps. Like I said, times have changed. We need to be able to be adaptable and be ready for survival, because I think it's only going to get harder. Inflation's increasing. There's a lot of social and political tension. So I think it's like, get your house in order and stop all the unnecessary spending. Let me know what you think in the comment. Is it too hard to survive whether you go to college or not? Do you think it's necessary? My personal opinion, to each his own, but be careful. Have balance in life. Peace.